All right, folks, welcome to the zone. Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. Now, let's keep this one nice and simple. I've been doing these fan reviews of the matches for roughly pretty much a season now. And we've been there and we've seen it all. And I've supported them. I'm 30. I've supported them my whole life. I've watched all the games. I don't miss a game. Truth be told, I even watched Jamie Vardy break Ruud van Nistelrooy's goal scoring record at my sister's wedding, and I watched it on my phone. I was glancing at it under the table whilst I was on the head table, so I'm dedicated, right? I try watch it when I can, mate. But this is ridiculous. Look at these stats. Manchester United have faced 116 shots in our last Premier League games, in our last 6 Premier League games. Now, people are going to say Man United had injuries. We had no Luke Shaw. We had no Martinez. Who else? No Højlund. Okay, right. But they were available in the last 6 games. We're still being pummeled every single game. There is a fundamental problem with this manager, and there's a fundamental problem with the team. After the game, Bruno Fernandes, angry with Michael Oliver, arguing, how about you do something on the pitch? When was the last time you watched a game of Manchester United and thought, wow, Bruno Fernandes is going to be our forever player? It was probably like his 5th game for something where he was like running the show, scoring with every shot, whatever it may be. It's just, you just get to a point where you're like, listen, you're just not performing. I'm going to run you through the squad because obviously for me, I've done videos on it. I don't support players or managers. I support the club. It's not going well for the club. There needs to be change, even just to say, hey, this is not acceptable. Now, we're going to get some stats and things like this, and we're just going to run through the players. If we run through the players and we run through the sort of game plan and everything, here's how I see it. I think the manager got this fundamentally wrong, and a lot of managers do this and it annoys me. When somebody's injured, they mess their whole team up for it, and I can't wrap my head around it. So if you take a look at the lineup, out of the injuries, we had Højlund was injured, right? And so, okay, Højlund's injured. What do we do? Well, to me, you keep the same attack. Garnacho on the right, Rashford on the left, Bruno in the middle, and then you look at your club and you go, right, who's the person that can play the striker role? Is it an academy player? Is it say Scott McTominay? He plays up front for Scotland and has been in and about the goals recently. Can he do a job against Fulham at home? You'd like to think so. And if he can't, and if certain players can't, there's the problem. Right, so even though he has messed the system around, there's 2 things going on here. Number one, I don't think you should mess the system around. I think you should just play your players in the correct position and then pop someone in. Because what he's ended up doing here is he's basically kind of got 4 people out of position. Forson was having to be covered by Maino. Dalot wasn't linking up with Forson. Now Garnacho and Lindelof haven't been a combination that's linked together. You've got now Rashford up front who don't want to be up front. Bruno's kind of, wandering around to Forson's position and sometimes the striker role because Rashford does what he wants to do, which is walk around and sulk and pull out of tackles. And so the whole front of the team was disrupted because of one injury, and that makes no sense. However, on the flip side, Manchester United should be able to put out 11 players that can beat Fulham and not be hammered by shots, right? So it's either the manager has given them such instructions that they can't play in a solid, decent style, and it doesn't matter who goes out there, they would underperform. I'm leaning towards that, to be honest, because it doesn't matter who we put out, we're getting hammered with shots. Or number 2, which again is another very likely scenario, the players just aren't good enough. Let's look at the team, right? I want you to just genuinely look at the team on paper and think about Premier League's top 4 cup runs, Champions Leagues, Europa Leagues, and I want you to look at that team. Onana, genuinely think he should have done better on the second goal. Actually had a semi-decent game today, I would say. But the goal again, when it's that quick reactive shot, it's in the back of the net before he's even gone down. He never makes that miracle save, to be honest. I don't really rate him. Varane, I'm not the biggest fan of, to be honest. Maguire, dislike strongly. I think his pace is gone, or should I say, he's never had pace to go, but he should just be gone. Lindelof at left back should just not be an option. There's got to be somebody better at left back. Dalot is okay. He's hit and miss. He should be looking to be pressurised with a new signing. Casemiro's permanently injured. Maino's trying his best in that midfield. Forson looked really average. Garnacho looked really average. And worst of all, Rashford looked completely disinterested. And Bruno looked painfully average. And I'm sick of his random passes where he just hoofs the ball and gives it away constantly all the time. Prime example last game where he back passed it when it should have just been kept in the corner. And he passed it to the goalkeeper. And they counter-attacked. I mean, but just look at it, man. Like, look at the squad. Eriksen, the guy's a pacemaker, probably shouldn't be playing the game, let's be honest. Scott McTominay, he's only there because he can nick a goal, probably shouldn't be playing. Diallo looks really average, but he's not been given a chance. And a 99th minute sub for Anthony. You know, to me, Bayinda should be playing some games. Amrabat should have played left back today. If you were going to put a right winger on the pitch, you play Anthony at right wing. I don't know why Forson's on right wing. Look, I know we're Manchester United and we all like youth and everything, but let's be honest, we don't like Anthony, but he is decent defensively for what it is and occasionally has the odd moment. He would have been a better right wing option than Forson. And then you look at the rest of the team, you know, Evans, I would genuinely argue Evans has been one of our better players. And he should be playing there alongside Varane. You could play a back three. You could then get rid of Lindelof. You could play Varane, Maguire, say Evans, and then have Dalot with sort of Dalot here with Amrabat here, kind of like a 3-5-2 or something. Yeah, you know, you could do something. The manager, he's getting pummeled every single match. Every single match we've been utterly pummeled. You know, 17 shots they're having. 17 shots, 9 corners. I also think that at the very end of the game, when they were running through, I think there was a period where Eriksen could have and maybe should have hauled somebody down for a tactical foul, but we're just a very, very weak team. Very weak team mentally and just all around the board. I always look to Van Gaal because Van Gaal's like my example of a coach in the sense of when you looked at the field when we played under Van Gaal, you might not have liked it, but you looked at it and you went, okay, I can see what we're being coached to do. Because we couldn't score a goal, we didn't really let many in, and we often beat the top 6. You know, we were very good at that. Now we are just being destroyed, and we honestly need some really proper players, actual proper footballers that take it seriously, not Rashford, who pulls out a tackle and gets upset. Not Bruno, who moans and hasn't performed and just gives the ball away. Not Onana, who's just hit and miss. You know, not Eriksen, not Lindelof. We need some proper footballers and a proper manager. I'm not sure that this manager is it. You know, so that's my thoughts on the game. I genuinely thought with the lineup, I was like, oh, Lindelof's going to get terrorised. Our whole forward lineup's been disjointed. It made no sense. I don't understand why people rate Bruno or Rashford. It's just, I would say it's disappointing, but it's not. It's just kind of expected because the way we're playing is unsustainable. Like you ain't going to concede hundreds and hundreds of shots and win every game.